Hello everyone, it's Peter. I'm back with another story. Last time I told you how I escaped from a pool of sharks that the Yakuza pushed me in. Today, I'll show you how I spent the night in a subway and met a poor Italian woman who had a limousine of her own. She took me to her secret $1 million mansion and asked me to sleep in her luxurious bed that was studded with diamonds. After being betrayed once, I found love again. But more importantly, a partner who would help me take down the Yakuza. Before I begin today's story, please subscribe to the channel to show your support. I was completely broken after that whole shark incident. Not only did they almost push me to my death, but also insulted me. But all these things didn't even matter anymore. I was going to lose my life in a couple of days. I had no means to earn money or get my money back. And not paying the Yakuza meant losing my life. There was no escape. I wondered if this is what my parents wanted for me when they abandoned me and got me tangled up in all this mess. Why was I paying for their crimes when I had never even considered them my family? Why was this happening? I was walking aimlessly and realized that I really had nowhere to go. My house was sold thanks to Hannah, and now I didn't even have a place to sleep. I went to the subway and spread my jacket on the floor. Well then, it had finally come to this. I had no option but to spend the night there. I was about to lie down when my eyes landed on the girl beside me. She was sitting on the floor and shivering. Her appearance was slightly disheveled, and it looked like she was homeless, like me. My first thought was to offer her my jacket, but I realized that I'd be left with nothing if I gave it to her. As I was debating with myself, Milton's face flashed in front of my eyes. He had always selflessly helped me. It was my turn to help someone else. The girl probably needed the jacket more than me. Here, please take this, I said, giving her the jacket. She glanced at me in surprise as she took the jacket from my hands. Thank you, she smiled. But what about you? I'll be fine, I replied. Wait here for a second. I'll bring you something warm. I bought coffee from the only penny I had in my pocket, and offered it to her. She accepted it gratefully, and I sat down beside her. Are you feeling okay now? You looked like you were going to get sick, I said. She nodded. Yes, thanks, I feel fine. What's your name? Peter, I replied. And yours? Sophia. I had a hunch before, but now I was pretty sure that she was Italian. Her accent, her name, everything was leading me to believe that. To be sure, I asked her. Yes, she answered in surprise. How did you know? I shrugged. Your accent gave it away. Oh, I see. You're quite smart, she said. You don't look like you belong here. If you don't mind, may I ask, how did you end up homeless like this? It's a pretty long story. I'm all ears, she encouraged with a smile. She seems like a nice person, and I needed to get some things off my chest. So I started telling her my story from the beginning. By the time I was done, a long sigh escaped my lips. Sophia was looking at me in shock. So, you're saying that your parents betrayed you? And the Yakuza is now threatening you with your life? She asked. I nodded. Pretty much. Wow, the most awful person in your life was that Hannah girl. What a gold digger. Sophia shook her head. She deserves to live in the streets, not you. I don't blame her for anything except for the fact that she ran away with my money, I said. But let's not dwell on that. It's your turn now. What made you end up like this, Sophia? As soon as Sophia opened her mouth to reply, a limousine stopped outside. The driver asked Sophia to get inside and apologized for the delay. I glanced at him in shock and confusion. What the heck was going on? Sophia was supposed to be homeless, right? Then how did she get herself a limo? I think there's been a mistake. He probably confused you for someone else, I said to Sophia. Sophia started laughing. I'm not homeless, Peter, I gaped at her. What do you mean? I'm sorry I didn't say anything when you assumed I was homeless, she said apologetically. I was sitting here waiting for my driver to pick me up. He got stuck with some work, so he informed me that he'd be late. I was just passing time here. I was amazed. I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions about her. She never said that she was homeless. And seeing the limo, I was now guessing that she was super rich. Contrary to what you thought, I own $1 billion business empire, she informed me. Once again, sorry for the confusion. And also, thank you for helping me. Now I felt embarrassed. She probably used branded and expensive clothes, and here I was offering her my rag-like jacket. It's really admirable that you helped me despite thinking that I was penniless, and despite being broke yourself. I'd like to repay you, she said with a smile. It's okay. I wouldn't want you to be caught up in my mess, I told her. What if I told you that I'm already a part of that mess? She asked. My eyes widened. What? What's that supposed to mean? She sighed. Just like you, I have my own issues with the Yakuza. They take millions of dollars from me every month just to allow me to do business in their area. They've made my family life an absolute nightmare. They keep on blackmailing and giving death threats in order to get more money from us. Suddenly, I was reminded of the time when I used to visit different business owners with Hannah. We used to demand money from them. I hated doing it, but it was my only way of survival back then. Now I was feeling guilty towards Sophia and all those business owners. And Sophia already knew this because I mentioned it while telling my story. You know, once they even tried to get rid of me when I refused to pay, she continued. Fortunately, I was able to save my life. But that incident also made me realize that I was completely at their mercy. And this was wrong on so many levels. They don't deserve this kind of power, and they have no right over someone's life. I know. I can't even begin to describe how frustrated I feel, because I can't go against them. This is so unfair, I said. We both feel the same way then, she said, placing her hand on my shoulder. I think this is the perfect opportunity to team up and get back at the Yakuza. What? I exclaimed. How? I have the means and you have the brains, she replied. I think if we give it our everything, we can end our misery once and for all. But let's talk about this later. For now, would you like to go home with me? I didn't even think before saying yes. It's not like I had anywhere else to go, so how could I refuse? She brought me to her mansion and gave me a room to sleep. I stood frozen for a few seconds when I entered the room. It was a whole other level of luxury. The bed was literally studded with diamonds, and everything in the room probably cost more than my life. You can sleep here tonight, Sophia said. I'll sleep in a different room. Wait, what? Why are you giving me such an extravagant room? I'll be fine with a couch in the living room, I said. You deserve all this luxury, Peter. Please don't refuse. Just think of it as a repayment for all the help you provided me with. She left after that. I stared after her in shock. I had underestimated her. I mean, I knew she was rich, but who the heck has diamonds studded on their bed? Rich people sure had weird tastes. I could never relate. After lying down on the bed, I kept staring at the ceiling the whole night. My mind was reeling with everything that had happened. My circumstances were changing faster than I changed clothes. I went from broke to being rich. Then I became homeless. And now, I was sleeping in a mansion. Sometimes, it all felt too surreal to believe. Sophia had told me that we would discuss the plan in the morning. My stomach was already churning with anxiety. Knowing my luck, I was expecting everything to fail in the end. And of course, I was going to pay with my life. But maybe, just maybe, things would work out. It was wishful thinking, but if that happened, I'd be the happiest person in the world. I didn't need money or a home or anything else. All I wanted was to get rid of the Yakuza and live my life peacefully. Hello, everyone. You probably recognize me by now, but I'm Peter. Last time, I told you about Sophia, who took me to her $1 million mansion and promised to come up with a plan to save my life from the Yakuza. Today, I'll show you how on the date of my deadline to repay $10 million, I went to the Yakuza boss without a penny and got my head stuck in a guillotine. Hannah laughed as her father prepared to take my life. Luckily, Sophia's lucky pen came to my rescue. I succeeded in finally getting my revenge and became the most feared Yakuza in the world, the Godfather. How did all this happen? It's time for the finale. But before I begin this incredible story, please subscribe to the channel to show your support. I woke up in the morning to find a luxurious spread of food in front of me. A butler stood beside me, pouring juice in a glass. Is this for me? I asked him nervously. He gave me a warm smile. Of course, this is for you, and don't hesitate to ask if you need anything else. Wow, I was being treated like royalty. It's still hard to believe that I slept on a bed that was studded with diamonds. And now this food? I had never such varieties of food in my life. I started eating quickly. It felt like I had been starving for years. I probably wouldn't get this kind of treatment even if I sold my soul to the devil. As I was eating, Sophia walked inside and greeted me with a smile. Are you comfortable? Is everything to your liking? Would you like to eat something else? Everything's great, I replied. Thank you. I'm glad. She took a seat next to me. Then, shall we start discussing our plan? I have something in mind. Listen to me very carefully. I nodded. Tomorrow's your deadline to pay back the money, right? You can go to the Yakuza boss and tell him that you can't pay. And then? I prompted. That's it? She smiled. I choked on the juice. Oh, you're kidding, right? No. So, do you want me dead? Is that it? Peter, you have to trust me, she said. I won't let anything happen to you. How could I trust her with my life? But then again, it's not like I had a better choice. Even if I didn't go with the plan, the Yakuza men were going to find me. And I don't even have to tell you what was going to happen next. So, yeah, it wasn't going to make much difference even if I agreed to her. Okay, I said. I'll do as you say. She gave me a look. You might think that I'm deceiving you, or something, but I promise we'll be able to take down the Yakuza in the end. And you will be free. That night, I wasn't able to sleep. The worry of what would happen the next day kept eating me alive. It'd finally come to this, no matter how hard I tried to change everything. I had no one to blame but my parents. They were the ones responsible for everything. But they got away unharmed, and I was bearing all the consequences. The next morning, I started getting ready to leave. I had no idea whether I was going to come back or not. As I was about to leave, Sophia blocked my way. She gave me a pen, earning a confused look from me. This is my lucky pen. My mom gave it to me as she was dying. I've kept it with me ever since then, she explained. Why are you giving this to me? I asked in confusion. As silly as this sounds, I believe that this pen will protect you, so please keep it. I thanked her. I don't know if I'll be able to see you again. My future's uncertain. Peter, you will come back, she said. You have to bring my pen back to me, she added jokingly. I hugged her. I'll try. See you, Sophia. I went to the Yakuza boss with the pen in my pocket. Both him and Hannah were grinning down at me maliciously. I don't have the money, I said. How shameless! Hannah started laughing. You have some nerve showing your face here when you know how this is going to end. Brave till the end, I see, her dad commented. I'll tell you a fact, kid. These illegal businesses, fake currency, bank frauds, and all such things don't really please me. I find more joy in killing people. It's even better in your case. Since you are such a rebel, all your confidence and pride must be shattered now. He didn't have any pride to begin with, Hannah said. He's the same today as he was on the day he first came here. I can't wait to see his end. This is much more fun than blackmailing people and swindling money out of them. The Yakuza boss walked towards me and grabbed my collar. He then started dragging me somewhere. I almost screamed when he forcefully pushed my head inside a guillotine. It never actually sunk in that I could actually die at any moment. It was something that just remained in my mind as a threat. But now I could finally start believing it. My short life started flashing in front of my eyes. How I had to move to Japan because of parents who didn't even care about me. How I was completely alone in a foreign land. My dad's arrest, my mom's betrayal, the Yakuza, Hannah, Milton, casket sharks, Sophia and her lucky pen. The Yakuza boss took control of the handle to bring down the blade and get rid of me. My heart was beating so loud that it felt like I would die of a heart attack first. Suddenly, there was a loud crash, and Sophia broke in along with the police. Within the blink of an eye, the Yakuza boss and his daughter were arrested, along with all the other men. "Peter!" Sophia rushed to me and helped me stand up. "Are you okay?" "I don't think so," I replied honestly. "But what's happening now? I'm not dreaming, am I?" "No," she replied. "I told you, I won't let anything happen to you. Did you think I would betray you too?" I did. There was no reason for me to trust her then, but now I knew that she was a genuine person. "The pen that I gave you," she continued, "it's a really special pen. There's a recorder installed in it. I was able to show the live confession of Hannah and her father through that camera. Their blackmailing, illegal business activities, and the attempt to murder you, everything was exposed." "Peter, you can't do this to me! You love me, remember?" Hannah yelled. I scoffed. "Which delusional world are you living in?" Then I turned to her dad. "And you. I hope you get more than what you have made innocent people go through. You said you were untouchable, and no law could do anything to you. But here we are. You're being arrested and with solid proof. Enjoy your time in jail." He gritted his teeth, but couldn't say anything. Hannah kept begging me to get her released. I was reminded of the time she threw me to the sharks and how I had to beg her for my life. Man, how the tables had turned. "Don't worry, Hannah. This is definitely better than being thrown to the sharks," I smirked. They were both taken to jail, and my heart swelled with satisfaction. Finally, I didn't think this day would ever come. I was free. No more Yakuza in my life. No more threat to my life or my fingers. And no more worrying about money. I hugged Sophia, thanking her for everything. "It's fine. I'm happy to see you smile like this," she said. "Let's go home now." I gave her a confused look. "You mean your mansion?" "Where else, silly?" she laughed. "You should rest for a few days." On our way back home, I asked Sophia how old she was exactly. I knew she was somewhere around my age, but I needed to be sure. "I'm turning 15 in a few days," she replied. "Wow, you're quite impressive, Sophia," I told her. "You're so mature for your age, and you even run $1 billion business." "Actually, it's my dad's business. I'm just a part of it," she confessed. "I help him overlook the operations in various countries. To be more specific, I lead the global operations of Sicilian Mafia along with my dad. Yakuza are our prime enemies, and I needed your help to bring them down." This was a lot to take in, but there was one thing that was especially weird. "Wait, so did you use me?" I asked. "I thought we had a connection." She shook her head. "I didn't exactly use you. It's true that I benefited from you, but my feelings for you are also true, Peter. I love you, and I want you to run the Sicilian Mafia with me since my dad is going to retire soon. I'm not enough to handle things on my own. That's why I had been looking for a smart and strong person for quite some time, and you fulfill those criteria. In short, I need you to be the godfather." "What exactly will he have to do?" I asked in amazement. She told me about her next job. An ex-Yakuza man had escaped prison and had started a fake currency business with his wife. This business was causing heavy losses to the mafia. We had to bring him down. She passed me her phone and showed me the picture of the man. I had to blink a few times after seeing that picture. It was my dad. I had no idea how I was supposed to react. I was back to square one with the person who started all of this. This was the start of a roller coaster ride.